The FDA says there are issues with the packaging that could cause that broth to go bad. If you have this broth, you should either throw it out or you can take it back to Walmart to get your money back. So far, no one has reported getting sick from consuming the broth, but again, go ahead and check your pantries now. Now to a safety alert. Walmart stores are recalling Great Value brand chicken broth. They say it could be spoiled, and I have a feeling lots of folks have some sort of chicken broth in their cabinets right now because of this cold week we had. These are the 48-ounce cartons sold in Tennessee, looking like this.
Walmart's chicken may look like a budget win, but what if the real cost is hidden in bacteria counts as high as any in the country? A 2019 consumer report flagged pathogens like salmonella and campylobacter, and investigators found chicken sitting at 48 degrees, when the safe limit is 40 or below. That's the equivalent of sending troops into battle without armor, stacking risk on risk with every package. Would you take that gamble just to save $1? Stay in, because what you'll learn next might change how you shop forever.
Listeria outbreak has led to a nationwide recall of millions of pounds of meat and poultry. This is the same type of outbreak tied to Boar's Head deli meat that so far has killed 10 people since May.
Yes, I did, Ashley, and he told me that this is a pretty big deal. I'm standing outside of a Trader Joe's. This is just one of several stores around the country that have had to take a lot of food off of their shelves due to this mass recall.
WRAL's Willie Danley joining us now live. Willie, you spoke with an infectious disease expert about this outbreak.
Nearly 12 million pounds of meat products and ready-to-eat meals are being recalled from stores, schools, and restaurants around the country.
Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video.
After potentially dangerous listeria, a foodborne bacterial illness was discovered. Dr. Cameron Wolf with Duke Health tells me for average healthy adults, it's not much to worry about. But for the elderly, pregnant, or immunocompromised, this could be dangerous. Trader Joe's, Costco, and Walmart are among the many stores that have had to take products like chicken wraps, burritos, and ready-made salads off the shelves. Kathy Wu just purchased pork chops from Costco.
It's probably typically not much more than a feverish gastro-type illness, muscle aches and pains, nausea and vomiting, and it's self-limited. But, there's a small number of people for whom this is really potentially quite life-threatening.
If an enemy leaves their armor at home, would you still follow them into combat? That's the question you need to ask the moment you walk past the discounted chicken case that looks like such an easy win. The shelves flash a promise: low price, family portions, and enough meat to feed everyone at the table. But as with any battlefield, what looks like a shortcut to victory can hide a set of traps waiting to cut you down.
But she's not too concerned.
I think as long as you fully cooked up pork, I don't really think it's a big deal.
Dr. Wolf tells me that's not entirely true.
The appropriate cooking will certainly reduce many contamination points. It doesn't do it perfectly, and we don't do it perfectly as the consumers.
Following the listeria outbreak, which impacted Boar's Head deli meats, 10 people have died. This is one of the reasons that Dot Vlasic doesn't buy ready-made foods. She prefers to make it herself.
The second point is that some of these products are intentionally fresh meat. They're not meant to be ones that are cooked.
Walmart's strategy is simple. Drive prices low, flood the market, and make sure shoppers see chicken as a cheap baseline protein. To the casual eye, that's a victory. You pick up a pack, you see a sticker price that beats almost every rival, and you walk away thinking you've scored. But behind the sticker is a supply chain tuned for volume at the expense of stability. And inside that system, weaknesses spread like cracks across a shield. The first fracture appears under the microscope. Consumer Reports' 2019 study laid it out with clinical precision. Samples of chicken here carried some of the highest counts of bacteria seen nationwide. Pathogens weren't a vague possibility, they were identified threats. Salmonella, campylobacter, dangerous enough to put a healthy body down for days, or worse, to hit the very young and very old as if they were unarmed recruits pushed into frontline fire. And unlike obvious threats on a battlefield, these enemies are invisible. You can't feel them in the package. You can't smell them through the plastic. They ride into your kitchen undetected until the wrong temperature or the wrong handling gives them space to spread. Temperature was supposed to be the simplest safeguard.
From a health standard too, I would make my own roast beef and slice that and put that in the sandwiches for the children. But understand, a lot of people don't have that flexibility.
Cold storage at 40 degrees locks bacteria in a holding pattern, keeping reproduction in check. But repeated reports told another story. Chicken on display testing at 48 degrees. That 8-degree breach may not sound like much until you map it onto bacterial growth. In that window, colonies move faster, multiplying in hours the way enemy forces build strength when a guard post leaves its night vision back at base. The battlefield shifts without you realizing, and the risk ramps up before you even strike a match on the skillet. Behind the frontline failures, the human element falters. Staff expected to manage mountains of product often find themselves stretched thin. Training is light, oversight weaker, and the routines meant to catch hazards are carried out by workers with little support. Picture troops told to hold a defensive line but given no maps, no satellite feed, and no brief on what's coming. They stand there, gap after gap forming, while the threat advances unchecked. And then there's the equipment, the packaging itself. Surveys flagged punctured trays, film seals split open, and mislabeled cuts sliding through without correction. Imagine stepping into gear supply only to find your armor plate is cracked, your night scope is fogged, and your helmet strap already torn. You can carry it into the fight, yes, but the equipment won't deliver when the pressure comes. Packaging failure is more than cosmetic. A broken seal means oxygen exposure. Oxygen is fuel for bacterial growth, and once that process starts, refrigeration struggles to contain it. All of these flaws work together, not in isolation. Temperature breaches accelerate bacterial colonization. Packaging breakdowns expose the raw surface to air. Staff gaps leave the faults unchecked on the shelf. Each one is a layer stripped from protection, and all combined they turn what should have been a routine meal into a hazard waiting for a target. By now the picture is clear. That low-cost pack of chicken isn't just thin on flavor or quality. It's a compromised supply line, unreliable under stress, and hazardous enough to wound the one who trusted it. You aren't buying dinner, you're stepping into crossfire without armor. And once you see those risks stacked in front of you, that discount sticker feels less like a bargain and more like bait. But Walmart isn't the only store that presents a smooth surface until the cracks start to show. Beyond this battlefield, there are chains where the entire refrigeration net itself buckles. What happens when the cold chain, the very defense meant to stop bacterial advance, fails from start to finish? Behind the glossy display, chicken on these shelves carries cracks in its defenses. Think of armor plates weakened before the first shot is fired, because that's what broken seals, poor storage, and unchecked handling really mean. The danger isn't dramatic to the eye, but it's lethal when ignored. You have to treat every grocery decision like a tactical move. Ask yourself, do you want to trade quick savings for slow risk? The choice is yours, but hesitation has consequences. Subscribe and join a community that seeks to understand the realities of modern conflict, hidden battles.